2 minutes and counting, okay? You're going in about 45 seconds, Ms. Jasmine.
We are live, so right at 5, you can go ahead and get started.
Okay. It's start this. Going to call to the order of the Traffic Advisory Commission meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock on August 2nd. Are there any items that arose after the 72 hours deadline? This is a point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add something. Is there anything to add to the agenda? Seeing none. Public comment for commissioners, members of the public wishing to address the commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the city of Seaside, but not on this agenda, may do so during a public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. So only those items that are not on the agenda. Or does anybody from the public want to talk to items not on the agenda? I can do roll call. We'll go back to that next.
Members of the public wishing to make comment on any items not already on the agenda, please raise your hand. I have no hands being raised.
So let's go back to roll call.
Chair Pacheco,
Yes.
Police Chief Borges,
Here.
Fire Chief Gutierrez,
Present.
Associate Planner Jose Torres,
Present.
City Engineer Nisha Patel.
Here.
Great. Let's go to the approval of the minutes. Item 4, approval of minutes on the June 22nd, 2022 regular meeting. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from that date? Okay, not everybody at once.
This is Chief Gutierrez. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
For a second,
I'll second. This is Nick Borges.
can we have a roll call vote?
Chair Pacheco,
Yes.
Police Chief Borges,
Yes.
Fire Chief Gutierrez,
Yes.
Associate Planner Jose Torres,
Yes.
City Engineer Nisha Patel.
Yes.
Great.
Item passes.
Business items. Consider the installation of red curb at the intersection of Waring Street and LaSalle Avenue. We have a brief report and then we'll go from there.
Good evening. Can everyone see the screen?
Thank you.
So we'll be considering the installation of red curb at the intersection of Waring Street and LaSalle Avenue. The purpose of this item is to have the Traffic Advisory Committee review the application submitted by residents of the 1800 block of Waring. The site figure here shows the 1800 block, which is a one-way street exiting onto LaSalle, and the highlighted area for where the red curb would go. The Traffic Advisory Committee request application was received from a resident requesting the installation of red curb on the south side of LaSalle Avenue at the 1800 block of Waring Street. The resident noted visibility concerns when vehicles park near the corners of LaSalle and Waring make it difficult to turn onto LaSalle from Waring. LaSalle Avenue is classified as a collector street with a posted speed limit of 30 miles per hour and has one lane of traffic in each direction with parallel parking on both sides. Sidewalks on LaSalle are approximately 4 feet wide. Waring Street is classified as a residential street with a speed limit of 25 miles per hour. The 1800 block of Waring Street is one-way northbound with approximately 25 feet of width. And there are parallel parking on both sides of the street. There are approximately 20 single-family homes located on this block of Waring Street, which exits onto LaSalle Avenue. Staff conducted 3 site visits at the intersection of LaSalle and Waring. During the site visits, it was noted that adequate site distances were present when there were no vehicles parked along the street. When there are vehicles parked at the end of the block on the southwest corner of LaSalle Avenue at Waring Street, visibility is impaired. And the image shown is with vehicles parked up to the approach of the curb. Staff recommends installing 20 feet of red curb on the southwest corner of LaSalle Avenue at Waring Street to allow for adequate site distance. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions by the committee? Seeing none or hearing none, anybody in the listening audience have any questions on this item?
Members of the public wishing to speak on this item, please raise your hand. We have none.
So bringing him back to the committee for action. Or a motion or discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve it or recommend to the council to install 20 feet of red curb on the southwest corner of LaSalle Avenue at Waring to allow for adequate site distance.
Is there a second?
Chief Gutierrez, second that.
Okay, so can we have a roll call vote?
Chair Pacheco,
Yes.
Police Chief Borges,
Yes.
Fire Chief Gutierrez,
Yes.
Associate Planner Jose Torres,
Yes.
City Engineer Nisha Patel.
Yes.
Okay,
Item passes.
thank you. Item C, consider the installation of a red curb east of 1538 Hilby Avenue. Can we have a staff report and then we'll go from there?
1 minute while I bring it up, please.
Thank you.
This item is to consider the installation of red curb near 1538 Hilby Avenue. The application submitted by a resident at 1538 Hilby Avenue is for red curb to the immediate east of the driveway on Hilby. In the image shown, the area requested for red curb is highlighted. And this is the driveway for 1538, 1538A, and 1540 Hilby Avenue. Staff received the TAC request application dated July 11th from a resident requesting the installation of red curb on the south side of Hilby Avenue, immediately to the east of the driveway for 1538, 1538A, and 1540 Hilby Avenue. These addresses are located on a flag lot, which is located behind the residence at 1546 Hilby Avenue, with the only street-facing area being the driveway entrance. The resident noted that there is no place for trash cans at the curb when vehicles are parked near the driveway, which results in a trash service company leaving the cans on the sidewalk or in the driveway. There are 3 residences which utilize this driveway, which is classified as a private road. Hilby Avenue is classified as a collector street with multiple residences fronting the street, resulting in a high volume of vehicles parked on the street. Sidewalks measure approximately 4 feet wide and are present on this side of Hilby. Staff conducted one site visit at the address. During the site visit, it was noted that curb space was limited on the 1500 block of Hilby Avenue due to multiple vehicles parked on the street. There are multiple street-facing residences and intersections along the 1500 block of Hilby Avenue with several driveways which exit onto Hilby, resulting in limited parking for residents of the street. Staff also contacted Greenways to confirm that they do not provide service down private roads and residents must place their trash cans on Hilby Avenue for collection. The image here shows the driveway for 1538 Hilby and the red curb request. Our recommendation is due to the need for parking in the area, staff do not recommend installing 20 feet of red curb to the east of the driveway on the south side of Hilby Avenue.
Thank you. Does the members of the committee have any questions? Seeing none, members of the public have up to 3 minutes to share their thoughts, and then it'll come directly back to the committee to make a recommendation on this item.
I just want to put into record that we did receive 2 public comments that were submitted in writing that has already been distributed to the committee for review. That will also be submitted into record in the meeting minutes. We do have someone who would like to speak. Go ahead and unmute them. Ana Bustos, you are now unmuted and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. I'm actually the homeowner of 1540 Hilby Avenue, and this request was partially of mine. I have had many instances where I have nowhere to put my trash cans, and that's a huge sanitation issue for me and my family, as well as having issues with visibility trying to get out of my driveway because of the amount of cars that are parked there. I've almost gotten into many car accidents because I cannot see to the northern end of, or to the east side of Hilby Avenue. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay.
We have one more person who would like to speak. AJ, you are now unmuted and you may make your comment for 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Jahan Jaweda. I'm a lifetime resident and business owner in Seaside, and I own the property at 1538 Hilby. And until Greenways took over your contract, the garbage company was coming down our driveway to pick up our trash. And Greenways is refusing to do that. I've been in contact with them over the last year. They had come over, done a site view of it, and asked me to raise the power lines to 15 feet down there, which I did. And then they said they changed their mind. They just don't want to come down there. They said that they didn't want to do it because they would have to back out of there onto Hilby Avenue. But they are doing that for the lot right next door to the west. They're doing it. They're pulling their truck down there, grabbing that trash can and backing up onto Hilby every week. So that's only one concern, is that we don't have a place to put our 9 cans that are, required by us to, we have to have service with the city, and we just don't have anywhere to put them. So we're not taking the cans up, but once every couple of weeks, and it's causing a buildup down there, and it's a problem. I've reduced the amount of cans to the 2 homes down there to 3 cans to try to make up for that. It's still a problem. Greenways is putting the trash cans after they empty them on the sidewalk. So that being said, there's been 3 near misses by myself in the last year of people walking out into Hilby around that first car where we're asking for the curb to be painted red, because the trash cans are on the sidewalk, and I've almost hit them. So, this has actually been going on for a long time. I've turned in paperwork to the TAC before, but it was during the pandemic and it just kind of fizzled out from there. I don't know what happened with it, but you know, we need a solution up there. Our solution was painting the curb red. If you can come up with a better solution, you know, we're willing to do that. We just, you know, we can't keep not having the ability to empty our trash, for one. And two, the safety concern it is evident. As far as the Mr. Grogan talking to the parking, you know, I go up there on any given day or night and there's plenty of parking on that street vacant. The picture that you sent in the letter to all of us even shows mass amounts of vacancies from your overhead view. I've talked to every person in the adjacent lots and areas and asked them what they thought about having the curb painted red, and they've said it doesn't matter to them. So I don't know what that's all about with the parking situation up there. It's never that busy up there. And I don't know what else to say. It's a parking issue. It's a safety issue, and it's a sanitary issue. So, you know, I'm pleading with you to consider it. We don't need, I don't know how many feet you're asking for. I don't think it's going to take 20 feet to do it. Maybe the minimum amount to get us with the 9 cans that are required by the city and Greenways to carry their service. You know, I'm paying that bill on time every time, and I'm only using the service maybe twice out of the month because there's nowhere to go. I can't take them up there. There's nowhere to put them.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you. Bringing it back to the committee, I have a thought, but anybody have any questions?
This is Nick Borges, acting police chief. I have a couple of questions, but I heard some comments about safety, and safety for me is always paramount as it relates to comparing that to parking. Parking is an issue throughout the city, but I heard several powerful comments about safety, people bringing their trashes out, having to walk in between cars. And we do have accidents on Hilby. It's a discussion we've had as a TAC meeting, as a group. We know Hilby is a significant problem. So I guess my question is the 20 feet, how do we come up with 20 feet? And if that's too large of a space, is there something we can come back with a less footage of that? If there's something we can do differently. But I will say that I am not in support of not painting the curb red. I think it's a good idea if it's going to increase safety. That's the lens that I look through. So those are my questions.
Why don't we get everybody's questions to staff, and then the staff will throw out some, and I'll throw out a suggestion, and then we'll see what we can do with this and how we move it forward if we can. Any other staff questions?
This is Chief Gutierrez. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I absolutely agree with the police chief. I'd like if Patrick can take us back to the picture. I'd like to see that again of the proposed curb. Reading the letters, hearing the concerns about safety, I do consider those paramount versus parking. So I guess I want to ask, the 9 cans, like Chief Borges says, can it be less for 9 cans, or do we need 20 feet? But I don't agree with not considering making a red line. Thank you.
Just a suggestion, and could we, and this is staff, I truly understand the parking concern, because when I go by there is parking, but I also understand the safety, because it's that private road, and you come to the top. If there's cans there or another car, the visibility is very limited. Is it feasible, or staff's opinion, as in the other two chiefs thought, to maybe do it? I'm making up a number to be rather than 20 feet, because that seems pretty excessive. Like 6 feet on each side, which would give you 12 feet, and it would make the visual impact less as you come up the hill. You can see to the right or to the left, potentially better. Any thoughts to that idea or any other committee's ideas, or just to say this is not a good idea and do whatever the committee decides to do? I guess those are some thoughts just to narrow it to based on the two chiefs. Probably too much space is 20 feet and just do a shorter. Again, I'm just throwing 6 feet to make it 12 feet on both sides for the view, the safety as you come up that hill, because it is an uphill, which causes potential issues. But that's just a,
I believe our associate planner has his hand raised next.
okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to speak to not the red curb. I think the red curb would be a last solution. Another solution to the ultimate problem of the trash cans not being picked up by Green Waste. So I heard the owner saying that their neighbors are being serviced. They have the same setup, flag lot or long driveway. So I think we need to get to that answer first, why you're not being serviced by Green Waste, why you're being refused service. And if we can't figure that out, it would be ideal to have service picked up where it needs, not having to move the trash cans 100 feet or 100 yards, whatever that is, that distance. That would be my suggestion, is to solve the Green Waste problem before we move on to dealing with a red curb. And if a red curb needs to be installed, we also should be considering the other places within this neighborhood and within the city that these issues come up everywhere. In my neighborhood, people park at the stop sign because there is literally no place to park. So I don't know if I got to the crux of the problem with the red curb. I support it, but I would support going after the Green Waste issue first.
So just
Our
thinking and
city engineer has her hand raised.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Patel.
Yeah, Patrick, I wanted to know if safety was looked at, like was that brought up in the application? Because a lot of driveways have the same situation where there's cars parked right up against like the edge of the driveway opening. So I don't know how this would be any different than any other driveway on along the street. So can you speak to whether this was brought up in the application, whether you looked at site distance, and or is this something you would need to go back and look at, and what was the parking like when you made site visits? Well, how much was the street filled with cars parked?
Yeah, so I can answer some of those questions right now.
Great.
So when we made the site visit, we did look at site distances from the driveway entrance, because immediately to the west, there's another driveway or private road for the trailer park's dumpster. There are adequate site distances when you're pulling out from that private drive. When I was there, I'll click over to the next slide. This was the parking situation when I was there. We looked at the site distance and didn't consider safety to be an issue because of visibility. If they are placing trash cans after collection and blocking the sidewalk, then it would force people to walk out around a vehicle that may be parked there and into the street. Since there were no cans when we were there and there were no obstructions, we couldn't analyze that. For the 20 feet question that was posed, I don't know how large the trash cans are for the residents there. My trash cans at home are about 2 feet wide, and 9 trash cans allows for 2.2 feet per trash can in that 20 feet. So basically just enough to fit 9 trash cans. And then I also spoke with a manager at Green Waste about why they were collecting down the trailer parks, the neighbor's driveway, and not this one. He didn't have an answer for that. He just said it was because they had a dumpster down there. So I'm not sure why they are not able to collect on the applicant's driveway, and they do it for the neighbors.
Is it a commercial? Like, what is the other property? Is it residential, like single family residential like this, or is it some other type of
It's high capacity residential. So you can kind of see it in the photo here, and then I'll click back and you can see the number of residences at 1528 Hilby here, and the driveway that comes down to their trash collection dumpster.
okay. So it's a mobile home community.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other thoughts? And then maybe a question would be based on the staff's suggestion, and I'm open to whatever. Would it carry any weight if we wrote them a letter, had some negotiations rather than, just an informal telephone conversation, trying to get to the bottom line of this before we make the red line program, or any thoughts on that by anybody? Or do you want to go to the red lines, or you just want to, I guess the other option is just to mix it all together. So negotiations, the red lines, or the, at this level, denying the application. I guess those are three options, unless somebody have some other ones.
No, I liked your idea of contacting the refuse collection company and seeing if we have some influence over them, like coming down the driveway or picking up the trash a different way.
So I don't know how the chiefs are. What happens if we did this? Just as, again, off the top of my head, if we gave it 30 days to get a response from them, because we don't want to continue extending this, and use any weight that we have as it relates to doing the right thing and going down there picking up the trash, try to get some answer in 30 days. If there is no mutual satisfying answer in 30 days, we come back and make a decision, pro or con versus the red feet. Does that make any sense to anybody, or other thoughts are more than accepted?
This is Nick Borges again. I think that is very reasonable. If the issue is primarily a trash can issue, I agree with Mr. Torres. I think we should certainly attempt to pursue the trash company to try to resolve that. If the issue were just safety, then I'm all for the red curb. But it sounds like the greater issue here may be a trash can. So I think it's reasonable to at least attempt to pursue that first. And if that's unsuccessful, I agree with everything you just said, Mr. Pacheco.
Okay, so the goal will be, does anybody else have any thoughts on that? And then I'll and then we'll go for a motion if it's acceptable.
Mr. Pacheco, Chief Gutierrez, and to add to that, I'd be willing as the fire chief to make that phone call and to address the safety issues if that helps out other city staff. So I completely agree with your recommendation.
So I would need a motion, but the concept is for the chief, fire chief and staff that make communication with the trash company as such, give it 30 days to come to a resolution, and if not, hold a special meeting so that way we can resolve it A or B. So if someone can make something similar to that as an emotion or something, we can move that forward.
Nick Borges, I'll make the motion that we have Fire Chief Gutierrez follow up with the trash company, give them 30 days to respond to the issue in that particular neighborhood. If there's not a response or a resolution within 30 days, that we return for a special meeting and pursue the original topic of red curbing.
Or a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, we need to do a roll call vote.
Chair Pacheco,
Yes.
Police Chief Borges,
Yes.
Fire Chief Gutierrez,
Yes,
Associate Planner Jose Torres,
Yes.
Engineer Nisha Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan, can I ask you I guess a simple question? That recommendation doesn't have to go to the council as of yet, because, most time we go to the council on direct answers, but we're gonna give staff 30 more days to resolve that. Is that correct before it comes to the council?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. And thank you, Fire Chief, and thank you, Chief Borges, and anybody else that encourages the trash can to work cooperatively with the city of Seaside. Let's see here, number 6, staff communication. Just a couple little things that just wanted to mention. And Chief, I might need your help up here. I guess there's a concern or by numerous residents. I think there was a couple accidents on Hilby. I guess my question is, one, should we look at more trying to resolve that due to the amount of accidents and the most more numerous accidents recently? And then the second thing, can we look at if we want to move forward or not related to the Upper Broadway, for lack of a better word, as far as 2-hour parking or whatever it may be? We should probably at least tackle that to some level in the very near future. So maybe Chief, should we look at this committee, look at Hilby? Is it becoming an increasingly concern? I think I read 2 accidents recently, but maybe I misread.
No, that is correct. And we had a vehicle rollover on Hilby not that long ago, within the last week, over on Hilby in the 1100 block. Hilby remains a significant problem, primarily with speeding. And as folks are coming up and down General Jim Moore, primarily west or down, they pass Yosemite and the hill kind of crests downward. And that's where the momentum really picks up. And then once they get past there, I think they get to Noche Buena, and the accident happened below Noche Buena. But even there, it's just the way that the hill sits. It's not only Hilby, LaSalle is that way, or Grove is that way, Military. There's a lot of speeding that happens. Kimball is another one. But I'm definitely for any form of traffic calming. I know we spoke at an earlier meeting about the suggestion of doing some type of a survey on some of these streets, particularly near schools. But I am in full support of anything we can do, similar to Plumas Avenue, on some of these streets, and in particular Hilby Avenue, in addressing forms of those speed bumps, delineators, whatever we need to do to evaluate to see if that fits. But it certainly is an increasing problem.
So I'm hopeful that staff will bring back, at least for discussion of how to move something forward related to, and I agree with you, Chief, that there's a variety of issues on countless streets when you go down the hill or up the hill, where Hilby seems to be the most traffic accident ridden. So I'm just hoping we can bring something back to start that discussion, to figure out a plan. So just start the ball rolling.
Our city engineer has her hand raised to speak.
I'm sorry, I didn't see.
So we can have our traffic engineering consultant that's on call take a look at Hilby and see if he has recommendations.
And if we could bring that back at the next council, maybe that would be a starting point.
At the next council meeting or at the next TAC meeting?
TAC, I'm sorry, TAC.
Okay, okay.
So that way we can start trying to be helpful in limiting the amount of accidents. Okay, Anything else by committee members? Going once, going twice. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. Can we call the meeting to adjournment at 5:33? Work? I assume so.
you.
Have a great day. Thank you, Ms. Patel. You get well.
Thank you.